Do you then believe in a part of the book and disbelieve in the other? What then is the reward of such among you as do this but disgrace in the life of this world, and on the day of resurrection they shall be sent back to the most grievous chastisement. And Allah is not heedless of what you do. 86 These are they who buy the life of this world for the hereafter, so their chastisement shall not be lightened, nor shall they be helped.
Most grievous chastisement, most grievous, most. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Sulaiman Rahim here, National Covenant. The war started, brothers and sisters. I have a lot to say. Not sure I can get through it. But I talked to everything I wanted to. I've been here for weeks, so much. So I'm gonna try to get through as much as I can today. The war started. I've been telling about this war for 35 years. The war started. Right? Now, it says a time of unprecedented trouble. This time when Farrakhan was telling he's going to get you across the river and all this stuff. Well, first of all, he can't get himself out the wheelchair. See, all that was lies. And it says the people in dark see the great light. Well, how are they going to see a light? Because Farrakhan said, God, put the light out. So he told him, be quiet. Why would he tell him to be quiet at a time of intense darkness? And you behind that? And you haven't heard from him almost a year now. You haven't heard or seen him almost a year. I told you a year ago, before they announced anything, he was diagnosed beginning of Alzheimer's, incapacitated. Before they haven't announced that yet. I told you you won't see from it, and now you haven't heard from him almost a year now. They got almost kind of death watch. Curse with a curse. Man robbing the nation. It was the God, Elijah. There's someone who's robbing the nation, curse with a curse, and then the mess with the covenant. Now Elijah's gone. But according to Exodus, there before also. The God, Elijah, Aaron, and Joshua. But Aaron was no good. When Moses came back, he wanted to kill Aaron. Aaron was no good. He turned people around, turned away from the God, turned away from Elijah, wouldn't teach Elijah to teach. That's what it says. How can you miss any of this stuff, brothers and sisters? So if you're still there, that means you're a demon, you're crazy, you're stupid, right? Well, you're an agent. Because the scripture is very clear on this dog, Farrakhan. Very clear on him. It's perfectly clear. Because there's no scripture that back up anything he's saying. These clowns right here, it says the most, and it said grievous, it said the most. That means the most is the most. That means the worst chastisement you put on someone will be put on them. Because they twist the scripture and everything else. You know? Liars, maybe some of them may be demons. No, Farrakhan's a demon as far as the devil. How you get around that one? But the war started. And all this going around the world, and they ain't saying, they're not speaking to it because they have no idea what's going on. If they did, they would be telling you. The war started. I told you abomination of desolation that went on for a year and a half. It's on October 13th, 7th, I guess. And then that would lead into, it's two stages. The war broke out in heaven, abomination of desolation, and then Michael's angels. So based on that, Michael's angels would war with the dragon's angels, and Michael's matched for Muhammad. So you're gonna see strange things happen over there, and the media's not gonna report it here, but you're gonna say, well, how did this happen? That happened because Master Prophet Muhammad's on the scene. He's gonna be with Iran. America's about to be demolished. The king of the north shall come at them like a whirlwind. Isn't that what's happening now? This is these American states. Oh, Israel is winning. No, they're losing. They're in bomb shelters. I'm telling you exactly what's going to happen. This war will last all the way up to the end of the year. False Israel will be totally defeated sometime after September. So where we are right now, so it means we still got July, August, and September. America will enter into this war soon, and they will be defeated. False Israel will be American and will be defeated sometime around October. That's when false Israel will be abandoned. They can't help it, because they defeated and kicked out the region. So false Israel isolated, under siege, and the false Jews in this country, those who say Jews are not the synagogue of Satan, they're going to go crazy. They're going to go insane. And the fact that they are the masters of industry over here in America, right? They're the billionaires and all, they have control of media and everything else, they'll go crazy. It's going to be insane here. That's the plague of the flies. They're the flies. You know, flies, they annoy you, everything, or you just want to spot them. You think anti-Semitism is bad now? You watch what happens in October. You watch what happens in October. Flies are annoying. They cause you distractions and everything else. That's the media. They control the media. And they all go crazy. And there's going to be a big backlash against them. Anti-Semitism is going to take a whole new meaning. Because they're not Semites to begin with. And during this time, you're going to see things that you never believed. During this time, because they're going to attack Iran. America will get involved. The war is going to be raging. In September, it's going to be really raging. And that's when China is going to make its move. It's going to go against Taiwan. And so they're going to have a big draft. They're going to call people, don't go. Don't go. Don't go. Some of this was planned, but it's not going to work out like they planned. Don't go. Because I know some of you, we're going to fight for America. That's what Farrakhan'S telling you. Farrakhan, we have to fight. Elijah Muhammad went to prison. Went to prison because he refused to stop telling people, you don't need to be fighting for these devils. FBI told him, all you got to do is stop telling people that. Just stop telling black folks they ain't got to fight in this World War II. He refused. So he went to jail. He made sacrifice. He spent several years in jail during World War II because they didn't want to tell black folks they would be going to war. And then Farrakhan, if America can attack, we'll fight for America. This belongs to us. And he's teaching Elijah Muhammad's teachings. Totally against it. Don't go. Don't go. Because they're going to draft almost all eligible black males and females if they can get them. Even the ones in prison. Hey, if you go in the military, we'll let you out. I'm telling you, it's going to be a big draft. And it's going to be mostly aimed at you. They ain't going to tell you that, but it's mostly aimed at you. And you patriotic. All kinds of promises. See? Because they can say, hey, we're China. We got to, China's on the move. So America will be bogged down in the Middle East. China. And then Russia's going to, he'd have been on Armageddon's and European war is going to be heating up. Why? Because that war in the Middle East is causing economic problems for Europe. Because they just totally depend upon oil in the Middle East. And when this war is over, Iran going to control the Middle East. The Shia will control the Middle East. And the dragon, you don't understand, the dragon is a Sunni over there. They're going to fight against Iran. They're going to fight against Iran with devils. They already see signs of it already. Jordan, all of them, they're puppets. Why do you think Trump is over there? Just make sure everybody's in line. And Rand already said, why would Iran make a threat against them if they wasn't concerned that they would be working with America? But they are. When America gets involved, they'll get involved behind America. America be kicked out, and House of Saud and all them gonna be flee back to India where they came from to begin with, because they're not even Arabs. House of Saud are not even Arabs. That's a secret. They keep undercover. They're actually Indians who the British put on a throne to make sure that all keep pumping into the West. Because where they come from? They say it was desert people. Nobody even knew about the House of the Saud. That's what they call Saudi Arabia. It's a house, this tribe called the Saud. Nobody knew where they came from. All of a sudden, boom, they got control of Arabia. Doing British control of that area. When they was controlling India. You got a large Sunni population in India. They be part of that, but they're Indian, not Arabs. And they're going to flee back to India. See? When they're defeated. And they're against you too. It's no story all together. I don't know if I'm going to get there. But that's what's about to happen. It's getting more dramatic every day. Farrakhan, where are you? I'm putting it around the line, brothers and sisters. I haven't been wrong yet. So you'll see, you can come back and say, hey, man, you said this, didn't know. I'm telling you exactly what's going to happen, play by play. Not 2,000 years from now, not 20 years from now, this year. America, I told you about this war was coming. I've been telling you for 35 years, and really tell you all year, the last couple of years. But abomination, desolation, now this. That's what you can expect. It's going to affect you, and this war's all about you, but you don't know it. There's no one to help me. Because the devil said over the years don't send people in to distract me. Because it's never doing any benefit. So if they're not doing benefit, the bottom line is, if you're intelligent, if someone not benefiting you, then they're against you. You don't have to go and try to figure out whether they're on purpose or not. If they're against you, they're against you. Bottom line. Just go to the bottom line. So only words giving this message, no one representing me. If they are, they're lying. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. We're at war. I'm the only one on the battlefield, except for Master Muhammad. He's like the Air Force. He told Joshua, you don't worry about anything. I'm with you like I was with Elijah. How come he tell Farrakhan that? He told Aaron that. He told Aaron, he told Joshua, I'll be with you. Because Joshua was the one that took people to the promised land, not Aaron. Aaron died in the desert with his rest of his demon family. He told Joshua, I'll be with you. Joshua, same name as Jesus, just in Greek. I'll be with you like I was with Elijah. He was with Elijah. Nobody put any harm to Elijah. They put him in jail, they didn't harm him. But they took Master Muhammad in jail too, if you know the history. The war's on. I'm giving you details. It's all about you. I don't believe most people even believe it was. I don't know. You would think tell them about House on Fire, man, they would be talking about, man, let's go get some Popeyes. Be in there trying to get their children and everything out, but whatever, these Levites, boy, I don't know. Anyway, no one's representing this man. They tell you they're lying. This is detailed, blow by blow. They're preparing to attack. America's preparing to join the war against Iran because they see false Israel is going down. If false Israel is so victorious like these Western media's telling you, then how come they need them? How many Americans come to help? all about you, brothers and sisters. So this is what you can expect again, right? America's going to join the war. There's not going to be a nuclear war. It will not be a nuclear war, right? As America's getting bogged down, China and Russia going to make their move. China's going to move on Taiwan. Russia's going to move on Ukraine. That's going to cause America to panic and call for a universal draft. Don't go. Don't go. If you go, you're not coming back. Don't go. I expect this to happen pretty soon. Probably be sometime in August, September, not sooner. What's going to happen after America joins it with Iran? Bogged down there, China's going to make its move. You can attack Iran, I can attack Taiwan. See what I'm saying? Russia, I can go to Ukraine. Because why you attacking Iran? Didn't do anything. They haven't broken any laws. They haven't bothered you. They open the door. See, I say, these devils, their mind's so messed up. They're so wicked. That's the problem if you're wicked, right? Even if you're wicked, it's like a pig. Pig got a brain, but the brain's made to calculate. It's a low-level calculation, but brains are made to calculate in truth. So if you're a liar, you corrupt your brain. Because now you got to remember the lies and everything. That's why a lot of people, I guess we get Alzheimer's, the biggest thing in the West. Why? One of the reasons, because it's basic if you understand it, right? You got so many brain cells that for memory. You have infinite memory. If you live to be 1,000 years, you wouldn't even remember anything after the first 100 years. Because how can you remember all that stuff? You forget. You have to probably write notes and things. So these people, they take and they use up all their brain cells trying to remember the lies they've been telling. Because if you tell the truth, you ain't got to remember it. So if you tell the truth, you have to remember the truth. But if you tell a lie, you got to remember that lie. You got to remember it in detail. You got to remember it in detail. And they lie so much, they burn up all their memory cells. Then they go, I can't remember anything. That's one of the reasons. There's other reason too. That's one of them. It's all about mind. It's about energy management. And that's on the mind level. And right now, it's information war. So if it's a war, and we're at war, and Farrakhan declared Armageddon 3 years ago, I don't say Armageddon, he should be on the battlefield. Because it's about mind, truth, according to their interpretation. So why you not speak? Why on the battlefield? How come you ain't firing? Oh, the battle started, and the enemy's shooting, and Farrakhan said, "Oh no, don't tell your men to stand down. Don't fire back." What? Because you don't know a goddamn thing. It's a goddamn liar. And if you read chapter 12, it's talking about this war, the war in heaven. During this war, he's going to be cast down. The accuser, who is accusing black folks, he is. What do you think accusing mean? You're sinful, you're wicked, you need to atone. Where you get that from? You didn't get that from Elijah. You didn't get that from Master Muhammad. It's not in the lessons anywhere. It's not mentioned black men anywhere. That's from Farrakhan. The accused our brothers cast down. Devils ain't accusing us. They got control of us. You're not them saying we sinful and that kind of stuff. They ain't saying that. Farrakhan's the only one saying. Farrakhan's the only put on the scene talking about how sinful you are, how wicked you are. I hope the worms eat your ass. I pray a lot of worms eat your ass. Holy Farrakhan. He's the only one on planet doing that. You're so sinful. You're wicked. That's why you're punishing. That's why we came over here according to him. That's why he don't read the Abrahamic covenant. He reads just the covenant. He read the vision part and read the covenant part about, hey, we're going, why? Because who gets rewarded for being evil and wicked? So you don't read the last part of it. That's why it says those being part of the book, this be the other. The perverse part says we would be afflicted and enslaved for 40 years. And then rewarded after that for returning home to our land, which is Arabia between the Euphrates River and Africa, River Egypt, I believe it says. You don't get reward for being wicked. So you don't read that part. Why? Because then I would annul the BS he said about, you're so wicked, you're even wicked. It didn't say we killed him because even wicked. It said we would be enslaved, and the book said we come over here in ships. That's sure when that falls Israel. Because first of all, if they was living in Jerusalem where they said they was living at, and they was taken into Egypt, how is Egypt a foreign country? How is Egypt a foreign country? Strange country. It wasn't strange. It was right next door. Like going from Philly to Newark, going off, or New York to Canada. It's all bullshit. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Farrakhan'S is a goddamn liar. But it says a lot of people over there, they did because it says it's better to be in the Nation of Islam, or even under him, than out in the streets. And I agree with that. I told my children the same thing. Now, she went over there, I told her, don't drink the Kool-Aid. She wanted to drink the Kool-Aid, right? It turned to be poison, cyanide. Married 3 Farrakhan'S, all of them was shit. Wouldn't work, wouldn't do anything. Abusers and everything else. That's what you get over there. They don't tell that part. That's what's going on, brothers and sisters. The war has started. And it's going to culminate by the end of the year. And it's going to come home directly to you. Directly. Directly. HD. You're going to realize all about you in a minute. But first, like they're going to draft you, try to throw you in it, get you in that war with China. Are there going to be a war with China? That war will be over by next year. In other words, the war with China and the war with Russia, that's Armageddon. The war with China is the war of the goat in Daniel. It attacks the ram, America and Britain, 2 horns. So there have been only 2 world powers. It tells you in chapter 20, there will be 2 world powers. Go out and cover the whole world. It's only been 2, not Arab, not Indian, 2 European powers. America and Britain, Gog and Magog. Magog means the mother of Gog. That's where America came out of, Magog. As simple as that. And they would go out and see the whole world, and then they'd be destroyed where? Around the holy city, Jerusalem. Where would get to be a destruction at? That's what's going on. But anyway, the war started. And I'm telling you, it started, and it's going to culminate by the end of the year, at least this war, the war in heaven, the war where Iran will take over control of the Middle East, will defeat, take over Arabia, take over all the oil over there. But in the meantime, it's going to have economic impact. Okay, economic impact. I'm advising everybody, right? It's a win-win situation whether you believe this or not. Go out and buy at least 2 weeks of food that you don't have to freeze or cook. Raisins, dried fruits or whatever, crackers, whatever, and water. If nothing happens, you still got the food. If something happens, you prepare. Because economics gonna go back, and the food after a while, and eventually there will be no food. There'll be total economic collapse here before the end of the year. Because they'll be eating their own children. The Bible tells you that. Cannibalism will reign. This is where we are. How many months we talk about right now? We're talking about July, August, September, October, November. 5 months. All these things going to happen. They will have 5 months from now. They start happening now. Once the war starts. It's chaos over there in the Middle East right now. Because Israel is getting her ass kicked. America has to join because the whole idea, of false Israel is to keep you blind to who you are. That's why I said to begin with. False sign. So you see the world by the signs it was able to do. Every chapter 666. Who's 666? These things are easy, brothers and sisters. 666. That's America, Britain, and false Israel again. False Israel is the image of the other beast. You say, how is it the image? False Israel, you got America. It gave breath and inspiration to the beast that was the image of the beast. Okay, you got three, right? You got the beast, this beast that was wounded by death. Remember, this period of time is around 45, 19, around World War II. And if you understand the angel key, death represents Oriental. So in other words, America was wounded by Japan, but it healed, became world power. Then you had the next beast, who the first beast gave it inspiration and protected and everything else, right? That's America. That's false Israel. America, there's a political and economic and everything cover, right? And it says that beast was the image of the beast that was wounded by the sword. If you understand the key, the sword, but it wound was not healed. That was talking about India. When Britain lost India, it lost empire. But it says the second beast was the image of the last beast, that was the image of Britain. Well, what it's talking about is the government. False Israel's government is a mirror copy, an image copy of British government. Same thing, Knesset, everything, same thing. That copy of that's what it means, image of it. And what's the weapon? I mean, if that don't get you, the weapon should get you. Sanctions. Who's sanctioning everybody? You don't buy or sell. That's who 666 is, those three. I'm telling you this for years. They did this platform a couple of times, but I got videos going back several years. So go back and look at them, see if I wasn't talking about this then. I'm not trying to convince you. I'm just giving you information. Because if you don't get, that's your problem, not mine. Because it says, I'm going to be delivered out of this. It says, time of Jacob's trouble, but he was delivered out of it. Jacob, Esau wasn't. That's Levi, he wasn't. They had to go through it. They did it to themselves. But the war's on. And what I'm trying to impress upon you, it's going to get hotter and hotter every day. Since it started, a week or so ago, it's getting hotter and hotter and hotter. The whole world is getting, and Farrakhan'S quiet. I mean, this time unprecedented trouble, and he said, God told me don't say anything. And you buying that? Well, God maybe shut him up, because just like he was protecting him, God protects me, right? He protected me with cancer and disembowelment. He protected my ass with cancer. I guess I got cancer, so maybe I got cancer, so I wouldn't be less than women or something. I don't know. Maybe there's something good out of it. I don't know. That's good. 55 years old, cancer. And the thing is that the worst of it wasn't the cancer itself. So-called his synagogue or Satan, they blew his ass up, putting extra strength radiation pills in his ass. But he says he's under God's protection. Well, whoever the God that's protecting you, please stay away from me. Please don't come anywhere near me. If that's the kind of protection you provide, and Master Rama is not his God. I got a video here. I'm maybe show. He says he ain't. He says, Master Rama, you can't pray. You can't pray to him because he's flesh. You can't worship because he's flesh. And he prays to somebody else. But anyway, this is go over. I'm gonna move on. Right? The war's already started. False Israel getting his ass kicked, big time. Right? America has got to join and save it because they put there to nullify the vision Elijah Muhammad gave us that we're true to Abraham. So it says them, because they was hating them for 2,000 years, almost got rid of them in the 40s, and then all of a sudden they love them. Oh, we love you. Okay, can I lick your behind? Well, they love him so much. Well, how did that happen? Because Elijah says, no, we're the true seed of Abraham. Got the proof. Oh, no, I can't have them that. Because visions unify people. They can't have us be unified. So they set them up. And then they killed Martin Luther King when he went to Elijah. Elijah told me that what's going on here. They put them up. They false. We the real ones. Martin Luther King went out and gave a promised land speech. He blew his brains out the next day. They can't afford. That's why America goes all in. They got to keep that false side there. Keep us from recognizing who we are. And Scripture speaks to that clearly. Remember, here we are in 21st of July, 21st of June, right? So America should be in this war by July, the next few days, right? It's going to rage. Michael's angel fought against the dragon's angel. The dragon's angel fought back. Right? That's going to rage. Right? At some point in time, China's going to see they can invade Iran. They're going to take Taiwan, and Russia's going to move on to Ukraine, and that's when they're going to call World War III. Trump's going to have a draft, universal draft. Don't go. Been told, don't go. I expect that to happen within the next 2 months. July and August. So some of you will be if you ain't paying attention, you'll be on your way to China, their region, and then around September, it's going to be pretty clear. False Israel is done. American Britain get kicked out in the Middle East. They see that sign, that false sign they put about to go. That means the fact that we're true to Abraham, our true vision universal. Got to take us out. Okay. Many black folks over there getting their ass kicked over in China because they didn't pay attention to the message. They're going to attack. Blacks just left. And during that time, it's going to be turmoil in the United States. Turmoil. You said you get dissatisfaction out here with coast-to-coast riots over nothing a couple of days ago? It's going to be monstrous. Monstrous. Okay? And America will go paranoid because they're losing that war over there. They see forces going down. They kicked out of the Middle East. They're going to go paranoid on everybody's in America. All this diversity is going to turn to hell because they're going to afraid everybody. And so that immigration thing been going on, I just give you a warning because I told you. I said over a year or so ago, diversity is going to turn against them. Everybody's going to take and polarize, just like they did with 9/11, it'll be worse. They'll polarize. Because America needs to be in great fear of everybody. And we're afraid of the Chinese. Remember what happened in World War II? We did the Japanese. These were people as American citizens, national. They was American, born here, American citizens. Some had been in the military, everything else. They put them all in concentration camps. That was the word. This is gonna be worse. So when they see it going bad, they don't close the border. If you're out, you don't get in. If you're in, you don't get out. And all the immigrants go crazy. The Indians going to gather together. The Africans that's on visa, they're going to gather together. Everybody going to go in their groups. See? And when they get in with China, they're going to try to take out the Chinese people here. You see what I'm saying? And like I said, once they see false Israel cannot be saved, remember it's isolated because they got kicked out. Iran, Michael's angels say threw the dragon's angels out. They got ass thrown out, and they're going to drop worse than Afghanistan. They're going to drop their pants on fire. They'll be scared to death. Anyone get caught, I can't even imagine. There will be no mercy. They're going to attack all American installations. They're going to run them all out of there, on fire, run them into Europe. So I'm thinking this is going to be somewhere next couple, somewhere between around September. I know is, Master Muhammad's got the exact time. I know it's going to be within this period of time. So, kicked out of the Middle East, as far as Israel surrounded, House Assad, them, they fled back to India. Iran has total control of the Middle East. That puts Europe in a situation, because Europe dependent, Germany, France, dependent upon the oil from the Middle East. It's cut off. It's cut off. Now they have total economic collapse in Europe. Total economic, right? So this should happen probably September, October, when American Britain's kicked out. So around in there. That's I'm general. Don't lock me out to exact, but during that time, and when that happens, they can't get oil from America because America can't fly stuff over. You have to take by boat, and they can't get that much oil out of here anyway because America needed oil because they're going to take and call the National Mercy because they're calling the draft. So they ain't giving oil to anybody if they had it, and they can't get to Europe in time. And Russia's already aggressive against Ukraine, so they're making a move on Ukraine. And American Britain just got kicked out, and they got all those bases in Europe. And those bases have oil from the military. And so Europe's going to take that oil from them, plus they're going to ally with Russia to continue getting oil. And they're going to attack all American bases to take all they have. Because they're going to blame America for this whole situation. And so they're going to ally with Russia to keep getting oil, and that means they're going to turn against America, so now all America's bases going to be under attack. That's Armageddon. And America had to rush troops over there to protect the troops that's over there. They have hundreds of thousands of troops over there in Europe. Remember, these are the ones the ones that survived the war in the Middle East. They ran there, so they got to run to protect them. And they're going to block down all the oil. They ain't giving up any oil to anybody. So now Europe has to ally Russia to keep oil going and take the oil from those bases as an emergency. Then it's on. It's on. That's Armageddon. And over here, right, it's going to be economic, not collapse. Economic drama. Why? Because now America's at war. And, right, they have, in the Middle East, they're right, plus China and India is roaring. The gold is building up. See? And so they see America in trouble in the Middle East. China's going to take Taiwan, and Japan and Philippines, they're going to join up with China. They betray America. They're going to join up with China. And India's going to unite with China. That's the goal. And they see America in trouble, and they don't have any allies. Because remember, Europeans, NATO is against them now. They don't have NATO protection. Russia's not with them. So America's isolated. Except for Canada and Australia, places like that, they're not significant. So now they make their move. They take Taiwan. Russia takes Ukraine. And right. So then Armageddon takes place in Europe. China took control of that region over there and start moving towards America. Japan, Philippines, whole area. They start moving towards America. On the way, they take out, record this. if you will. Blow by blow, it's like what I'm saying. On the way, they take out Britain. They destroy it. Russia will destroy it. China will. They destroy it. On the way here, they destroy UK. Destroy it totally. It's an island country. Make God goes down. Now America's really isolated. They have no help. They have no help from Britain. They fight France and Germany, all those places. Have no allies. They think Mr. Trump for that because, hey, terrorists, I'm going to take her, because they're in trouble. That's what she said, because America's already in trouble trying to hold on to their empire and it's gone. That's what, and trying to keep control of us. We the nation they got control of. That's what you can see happening in a few days. Those working out. That's going on. Then over here, like I said, because false Israel under siege, and they're going to try to get Americans. You got to go back and help. Remember, Jews may not be very many up here. They almost own the state of New Jersey, but they got a lot of political power. They control a lot of industry and everything else. If they was suddenly put a hold on that, America would freeze. The economy would freeze. They control Wall Street, control a lot of industry, right? They got a lot of media. Who controls the whole Facebook? You see, so if they say, now you got to go and help people over there, because America moved out. They got kicked out. So Farrakhan's was under siege and fighting for his life was failing. And this is about to go. They said, well, we got to take these niggas out because Farrakhan's is going to go. They're going to realize they're true to Abraham. Then we got a problem with them because they come together, exceedingly great armies, like the Bible said, because a vision causes you to unite. That's the problem they're going to have. So when they see that, then they're going to start attacking blacks over here, all blacks. All blacks. The Africans on visa. But see, they're going to unite. The Africans here that's on visa, and the Haitians also. They're going to unite together. And so when they attack, they're going to attack back. They're going to be like a hailstorm in America. They're going to be like my mouse. Right. They don't want them running to the seats. They're going to fight. They're going to wreck. They're going to wreck this place. Not just them, but then you got remember they fight back too because they didn't get attacked. But the politics against them because they want to put them in concentration camp. They don't trust because remember they see Indian tribes on the way, so they want to neutralize all the Indian people because it's like they did in World War II by the Japanese. China's on the way. We got to lock down. Remember, Trump is immigration thing. We got to get the immigration, lock them up because they may be. They're saying that right now. They're saying we got all these foreign people in the country. We can't trust them. They're saying it right now. What they going to say when the war comes? They were trying to isolate them. They ain't going to attack them like they want to attack us. They're going to attack us directly. But they're going to indirectly get them, try to isolate them. And they're going to fight back. This country's going to be in total turmoil. They're going to be impossible to govern. That's when Trump going to call martial law. It's not going to work. And then once forces actually goes down, and America's totally bogged down over there, and England's, America's isolated because they took out Britain. They're going to take out Trump. They're going to blame for everything. They're going to Gaddafi his ass. You caused all this, man. Oh, they're going to turn on him like they love him now. Ooh, they're going to turn on him. They're going to tell him the business. That's what they're going to do. I'm just telling you. America will possibly govern. Martial law going to fail. And now you got all kinds of military groups running around here out of control. Not controlled by the government anymore. Running around looking for people to eat. Because they had running all the stores. There'll be no food in the stores. Why? Because they locked up all the oil. So now you need oil to transfer stuff and everything else. They say, we at war, we can't do that. What they call Strategic Petroleum Reserves, SPR. They're still battling over in Europe. They're battling the sea with China and losing. China's on the way here, destroying everything in its path on the way here, full of wrath, with India behind them. Total chaos. Slow within, slow without. Attacking on blacks, the African blacks, the Haitians, all those, they're gonna unite. They'll pick up guns and everything. They're gonna fight. And that's gonna be a bloodbath you can imagine. And this is gonna happen. You're gonna see this happen, unfold before your eyes. Total chaos here. And when that happens, when they attack us, and then they start fighting. That's when black folks finally come together. Because those Africans, the Haitians, they fight. They can fight all Americans. They don't care if you're black or white or whatever. And all that crap about I'm gonna make Africa strong and stuff. All that stuff gonna dissipate like. Because you gonna find they don't care about you. They want to get rid of you too. Obama didn't care about you either. You're gonna find out about him in a minute. And that's when you're gonna wake up and you realize everybody's against you. And as soon as they're gonna be against you here. Because everybody's gonna realize at that point that you trusted Abraham. And now you come together, seem a great army. Now it's your time to hold your head up, because now it's your redemption. This is what you're going to see in the next few days. So you got to say, well, he's saying, and you ain't got to pay me any money, I asked you for a dime. This is a free gift. You're going to see this next few days. All what I just told you is going to unwind between now and December. And it's around about December. Right? Around about December, I would say. Okay. During that time, November, December, that's when you're going to start coming together. You finally got it. Come together, see the great army. And I said China's going to be on the move, they're on the way here. They'll be here probably by next summer. But during that time, America will be in total chaos. Total chaos. That's the tribulation. Be no food. They said throw the gold and silver and speak of won't meat, won't worth anything. You got $1 million, what good as you can have no food. They said the scripture says they'll pay. They don't say exact amount of money, but you can guess what it's saying. They give $1 million for just bird shit. People selling bird shit. That's the only food they got. It said a woman, the daintiest women, too many devils. It says if she's pregnant, if she's giving birth during that time, so she'll do it in secret. Now, females, I don't know how you got. I thought they'd make a lot of noise, but so she'll do it in secret, keep it quiet from her husband. She don't want to share with. And there's no electricity, no gas, all that stuff was cut off at that time. So she's going to do it in secret, and for the purpose of eating that child. Now that's what the Bible says. Take my word for it. It says, eat that child and raw, alive. Can you imagine how desperate it's going to be? It says in false Israel would be so bad, they'll be eating their own flesh. Who's so hungry? Because when they surround, that's talk about Amalek. You better read that story again. It's a revenge story. So they're not doing Amalek to the Palestinians, because Palestinians never did that stuff to them. That's what Palestinians going to do to them. What they're doing to Palestinians right now is going to turn back on them. And then they're not going to kill them right away. Isolate them. They have no protection from American Britain, no weapons, anything out there. They're going to be desperate. The nuclear arsenal going to be neutralized. Not be able to use it. And that's why I'm not going to do that. And so they're going to start eating each other. And so drones flying all over so the whole world could see them in their destruction. And then, after a period of time, then they're going to just wipe them out. This is what you're going to see happen between now and December. Armageddon still be raging. That's you're gonna see. Then by this time next year, gonna come in. That's talking about the Golden Daniel, take out, finish off America. Now America will be nuked. That's the only country to be nuked. They're gonna take and destroy it, take everything out of it. All the devils that are still, they ain't healthy. The young ones, right? They're gonna take them out into perpetual slavery. And then they're going to burn it down. Why are they going to nuke it? Remember, the Japanese are going to be with them. That's payback, revenge. And secondly, because all these so-called rich folks, they got all these underground cities and stuff they built to protect themselves when the war comes, that they pushing on the world, but they're going to be safe from. They will nuke it, so there'll be no survivors. America will be nuked. That's the only place to be nuked. Far away from our land, Arabia. That's you can see in the next few days, brothers and sisters. So you don't have to sit around and say, oh, no. You know whether the next few days I'm right or not. Okay? And that's when, during that time, if you read Exodus, it says it was a time of war, but not a time of victory or defeat, when Moses separates those with the lamb from those with Aaron. So when he came in, when he returned, he says it was a time of war, but no victory or defeat. Doing this, that's the way he's talking about. Sound of the sword, but not the sound of victory or defeat. After he separated, he said, those with the Lord, that was with Aaron. So those with the Lord, they left him, that's when they're cast down, thrones are cast down. And once he separated them, then he told them to kill all the people that was with Aaron. Aaron too. He don't say Aaron directly, but that's the case. He hear all the Aaron's people that was Aaron. They kill them all. That's going to happen on this period of time. Backs come together, extremely great army. Why? Why do you need to come? Because they're under attack. He said, doing them devil as they've done to you. It's going to be turmoil in this country. And once they come together, that means they're going to force the demons out. The skin folk, Farrakhan, his boys, the chaff that looks like the wheat. Remember somebody sowed their seed amongst the wheat? Well, they sowed their seed, that means there's a different seed other than the wheat. I mean, you have to figure it out. If someone sowed their seed amongst the wheat, the chaff amongst the wheat, that means it looked like wheat, but it ain't wheat. Wolves in sheep clothing. That's the demons. And then they would separate out at the time that the chaff came together. I mean, the wheat came together. And that's the locust war, 5 months. That story of Samson, if you understand, they would tear this country apart. It's going to be a total chaos. I'm totally ungovernable. The government will collapse. The last temple is going to be called, what Trump called martial law. And it's going to fail. Because the military is not going to obey them. Plus, it's under attack. And plus, they got all that people in the military. So remember, everybody's going their own corner. So the Indians in there, they're going to run to give the Indian community, the Chinese, and they're going to run here. The blacks, some of the blacks, going to be stupid enough to get in this war. And it says they're strong men. They're called SEALs and that kind of stuff. So you hide in alleyways, scared to death, holding their groins like a pregnant woman, he said. A woman in labor. Total chaos here. That's where when that war starts, now we are. Now what you gonna do about it? Hmm? So at that time, people thought seeing the great lights and Suleiman's going, right? It said they won't come to him. He didn't come to them. I ain't going nowhere. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going nowhere. I'm not going anywhere. They're coming to me. Read Mark. Okay. And he's gonna give them their mind back. They send them out there to get the rest of their people. That's the tribulation. All these things, all the things I told you, remember all this stuff happened in the next few months. That's how dramatic. That's the time unpressed how dramatic the next few months is going to be. It's dramatic right now if you're in the Middle East. It just hasn't hit you yet. It says men's hearts failing for fear of those things coming upon the earth because the powers haven't shaken. That means all that is crazy over there right now is coming here. Let's move on, brothers and sisters. And I know I can't cover half of what I was planning on covering because I didn't mean to talk so much. So much, brothers and sisters. I'm getting this information today. That's my job. Right? So energy management. That's what it's all about. That's what energy deprivation. Getting control of your energy. Who's going to control the energy of the world? Who's going to control it? Who's going to control the quality of it? Actually, you control the energy too. Well, how do you control the energy? I say we can't control the energy. Well, think of it this way. It's not really control, but it's momentous of heaven and earth that come to a sudden. That's talking about the earth universe is contracting, so the energy is coming back. You saw energy deprivation because the energy was going away and it got real low energy here. But now energy coming back. It started in the 1860s. Every 50 years. So now we're in a 50-year phase. It's momentous of heaven and earth, but it comes to a sudden. Earth absorbs it and converts it in a form we can use, and you're about to experience it in a minute. And the way it works, how much energy you get out of that? Well, you divide it by how many people there are on the planet. If there's only one person, that means all that person goes, damn, ooh. But if you got 5 billion people on there, then if it's 5 billion units of energy, everybody gets 1 unit. Right? But if you got 500 million, then everybody gets 10 units. So I'm saying it goes down. But it says this world gonna be so dramatic, it's going to knock at least a third of the population, but it's actually more than that. Because it says there's going to be so few men left that 5 women take, I think it's 10 women take hold of 1 man. So the population is going to decrease dramatically. So that's going to give you a big energy boost right there out of energy deprivation. See? Because we could avoid energy deprivation if we cut the population down to almost nothing. But we're not murderous. Because that was somebody came up with that. Said, well, why don't we just go to war and kill 9% of the planet? See, so if we had 10 billion people there, right, get rid of 9 billion of them. That way we would suffer energy deprivation. But then we wouldn't be turned to gods either. It's no story together. I want to go and say, brothers and sisters. So I'm going to do that. But the population's going to be, they're going to kill each other. They're going to cut the population down at least by 2/3. So that's going to be a big energy burst right there. That's why you're transforming trick of an eye. Why? Because you get a exceedingly great energy burst. That's why it says, Son of Mr. Covenant come with healing in his wings. Because that energy will cause healing for you. Because most of us suffer from some form of energy deprivation right now. So now you have a big burst of energy. It's going to change you. Like it says, healing his wings. Battlefield control it. All these are benefits of what's about to happen here. My job is just to tell you what to do and how to get the hell out of here. Safely. You accept or reject it. I don't want your money. I want to tell you what to do. I just give information. You decide what you want to do with it. So let's look at this real quick, right? See, this is a perfect message. This is the message I explained earlier. I think I did, right? That when they reveal the scripture, they reveal it right? I mean, because people think differently. So you got to put it in a way that, it's like, for instance, if you got people, right, and and say you got population mix. Some people speak Spanish, some people speak English, some people speak French or whatever, and you want to, and you think, hey man, the Portuguese people, right? They're the ones that gonna be the best to deal with this season, right? Well, then you want to put the information into Portuguese. Nobody's gonna understand it. They will. See? So you have a different mind matrix. Everybody has a different mind matrix, a brain matrix, I think brain matrix, because they gave us their mind, right? So the thing is you want to give the information that appeals to the people that you're looking for, because other people won't register with them. It's like, some people, they want to talk sports. A lot of people want to talk beauty pageants, but they ain't interested in your conversation because they're on a different wavelength than you. So you want to give it the wavelength to the people that you. And so this was put on the wavelength for the elect. It's also put on the Levites. But they had two special books. They were on a slightly different wavelength. That's why they had to come through the major tribulation, blood of the Lamb, because those books was a subset of the angel, because it was designed for their mental matrix. See? And I see there's some apparently, right? There's something going to set up when he takes over his NOI. There's going to be something in it that's going to take these books and do what they need to do with it. Because I haven't found anybody do it yet. They're giving books and there's nothing happening, right? So it must be not their books. Because just like the angel, it was written for my mind matrix. See? So once I got into it, because it was there, it'd been booked all the time. When I was a child, I remember before my mother passed, right? I was at Waverly Avenue. I remember just like it was like yesterday. We had a wood stove, right, in the living room, right? That was a flat, a straight through thing. On Waverly Avenue. And I'm in the front room, and somehow I got a hold of the Bible, and I was reading Revelations, and I must have been about maybe 7, 8 years old, some 6, 7 around there, and it was amazing. I'm looking at that, I think I had a couple of tears or something. It was amazing. I'll never forget that. I never looked that book in after that. Never paid attention to that book. I never read it again after that. I know Elijah talked about it every time, but I thought he had it under control, so I didn't look at it. Until 1989, I told a story. I was sitting outside my current wife parents' house. She went upstairs, I stayed downstairs, and I was in the car, going through the stations. And I ran across the stage, this guy was talking about, was reciting it in Revelation, just reading it. And it caught my eye. I said, And I always liked solving puzzles. I wasn't NFL, and I would like solving puzzles and mathematics. That's my wavelength, right? I said, that's interesting. I said, I think I can figure that out, right? So I started studying it, right? And I couldn't get anywhere. I mean, I had some crazy ideas at first, right? Like chapter 12, I thought that was the earth, because the woman says a woman has stars upon her head and a moon under her feet, right? And clothes in the sun. I said, well, that sounds like the earth, because the earth got the moon at its feet, stars right there in the clothes in the sun, right? It wasn't that, but it looked, that's the impression I got. And other things. But I was in the King James Version. I didn't know about all other stuff, right? And that went on for a month or so. And I had my own business. I was a contractor, and I worked on divestiture of AT&T when they broke AT&T up. So I was working on that project over in 6th Avenue in New York. I think it was 1166. I think that was the address. And so you had to get the subway over there, right? I was living in Orange at the time, Orange, New Jersey. And so I got a subway, and right after the subway, this guy standing, this devil, Jehovah's Witness with his book. He waved his book, right? And so he said something to me or whatever. So okay. So I look and he was waving his book. I said, you know, I don't know. I don't remember details. All I know is I got the book. He gave me the book. And it's transliteral, so it doesn't have anybody what they think it means. It just says word for word. I was off and running. I got that book. All of a sudden, I was able to make sense of what I was, you know. Like you said, my pale horse is not a pale horse. Literally, it's a greenish yellow horse. And that itself is a code. And I was off and running. By 1990, I had broke the seals. But I didn't know I had broke the seals. I didn't go into the break the seal. I was just going to try to figure out what it means. After a while, I realized I had broke the seal. I said, oh, what does that mean? And there I was. And then I had to make a decision. What am I going to do with this? I mean, I didn't know this was about me. That's a long story. Anyway, I decided to go 100% to this, and I lost everything, like I said in Joshua, in Jonah. Overnight, lost it all. It's like that. Overnight. So the worm came up and just devoured everything. And says he went to a place where the sun beat down on him. That's why I went to Florida. Well, and what's it all about? It's about reaching out to the Levites. But then he looked and Jonah said, Jonah, he said, man, I don't want to do that. This is a waste of time dealing with them. He was right. Anyway, see what it says here? In there, this chapter 20. And I bear witness that to everyone hearing the words of the prophets, this little book, this, anyone should impose, that's to be distort the scripture any kind of way. He would impose God upon the place having been written in a little. Let me play. I tell people they don't get it. I say, you don't fuck around with this book. Y'all said it. I have to say it that way. And I can't tell them they don't listen. So things happen to them, they get mad. I said, don't fuck around with this book. It tells you right there. Anyone impose, distort anything. I warned everybody. Let's go a little further, right? Or if anyone should take off or from the words play with or modify. The words this book will take off the God that parted them out of wood. They're going to be eliminated. Everlasting shame and department. I warned everybody. But, you're talking to people don't listen. They can say, well, I didn't understand. Too bad. I didn't understand that gravity worked. Well, it's too bad. When your ass land flat on the ground, 10 stories because you didn't understand gravity, what do you tell gravity that? Because this book was written for a certain mindset. And every word, it speaks to that. So you change it, then you change it, and you can't do that. It's changed. That's why it says that the angel itself was written specifically for my particular mind matrix, so I would understand it. The way I think. So if they come me, and the two little books that's in there, that's written for Levites, because they couldn't get the whole angel for them. But obviously, I haven't found the ones that it works for, because if I did, they would be different, because they would see it and they would act on it, and you would know. So the ones that have it, they ain't the ones, because if it was, it would have the same impact on them had on me. Because the angel is my mind, and now I use that to raise up the rest. Put information out there. See? Because it raised up a whole nation, but those two books are specifically to get to this is to get the nation together, come together as the angel itself is to get them to come together as seeing the great army. But those books is to get them to a tribulation. I said they wash their robes in the blood of the Lamb. And so the people that the books go to, they haven't got it yet. Because they did, they would be told, they wouldn't be acting like they're acting. Understand? It tells you right there. Don't fuck around with this book, not even a word. Because if you do that, right, the person's not going to pick up, you're stored, so the person that's supposed to get it ain't going to get it because it's designed for their particular mind matrix. So now you change the matrix. So they don't get it. Right, you got to leave it exactly like it. That's why they say that, to get a one there. It's designed for a certain mind matrix. And this is like this covenant right here. People mess with this. I tell you, don't mess with this covenant. This covenant is very clear. It's one of the clearest prophecies in the Bible. You don't need a slide ruler. You don't need a computer to figure it out. Right? It said, know of a surety. You ain't got to guess. Thy seed, not descendants, thy seed. That's apply Farrakhan'S follows the devil. That's his seed. He's the seed of devils, not the seed of Abraham. Get around that one. Right? It shall stranger land that is not theirs. Farrakhan's land is ours. And it shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 40 years. 1619 and 29. That's why they want to get rid of the 1619 project. Because it's explained, because that actually 40 years. 40 years. And that plague would come, kill the firstborn. That was COVID. It killed elderly. Isn't that the firstborn? It passed over Africa. Africa was not affected by, go Google it, World Health Organization, WHO, about COVID in Africa. They wasn't doing social distance. They wasn't doing any of that. And it wasn't affecting Africa, black Africa, and it wasn't affecting Haiti. It was dropping like flies. It was a lie, because I never took any of that stuff. They forced you to wear a mask going to the store, and that was it. I got a little taste of something for about a couple of days. That was it. I ain't taking no drugs or nothing, or anything. And also, that nation who they would judge, America's on judgment now. And after they come out with great substance, then shall they, right. Okay, let's go to the next one. Uh-oh. I missed something here? Uh-oh. Okay, bro, says I missed something here. The second part where it says, where are we going to? Arabia, it's between the river Euphrates and river Egypt. Let's look on the map. It's Arabia, not Palestine. So let me go right here. What you see here is what I call a vector field. I call it vector field. See, when I show you the vectors, I'm showing you the simple. I show you how they affect us, but when they affect with a vector field. Because like this here, right? It's called axis because a lot of vectors. See? So let me, I actually, previous. Economically, that's a vector. Religiously, a vector. These are our minds. The vector force they affect us, where they affect us economically, religiously, socially, mentally. So it's a vector field. That's the simplest way of putting it. Right? And so the angel is designed because your brain has all kinds of aspects to it. What's the word I'm not components, well, I guess you can say, right? Because I mean, you got your thoughts are full range, right? You got thoughts, economic thoughts, you got intimate thoughts, all kinds of things, right? That's the brain matrix. So the angel is designed to strengthen all of those. Like if you go to the gym, you got all kinds of muscles. But one machine is not going to handle all the muscles, handle that particular muscle. So you want to get comprehensive, you got to go into all the muscle, you want to build all the muscles up, unless you just want to build arm muscle. Then you got to use all machines, also every type of muscle you got, to build them all up. Same thing with angel. That's what each of those verses is to speak to a certain attribute of your brain, certain qualities. So every time you do it, then you unlock that because you want a full brain workout. Then you become gods. Your tribulation about, angels about. They'll exercise every aspect of it. Those 2 books, specifically for the Levites. That's why you can't mess with it. You think that word don't mean anything, it means something. It means something. Just like, oh, our nation's in trouble. Okay, what does that mean to them? Oh, America's in trouble. So they didn't get the message, because if you told them the original nation in trouble, then it might be more, it's affecting them differently. Because now it means more to them in that. But you say that, and so you don't understand how these things working. This is important. They didn't make this book just to put it out there. It's important. It has to be left alone exactly like it is to get the result that you want. Because this book was designed to get us through tribulation home safely. Because they say, what scripture can I give them? What vector can I hit them to get them going in this particular direction? And that's what it is. So, and our brain, then you have to come with a scripture that's comprehensive. So you don't go there with a half brain. You're full. See, like, watch this. Let's see if they can help you at all. So now here you're going, right? Now you're going to this target right here. This is where you're at. You're heading for this target right here. Right? Promised land. Then you got diverted. Boom, here's the devil. That's the way vectors work. Now, I'm not showing you in the vector field, I'm just showing you the basic, but remember, this is vector field, because the devil just comes at you with a whole range of vectors. Your name, your culture, your religion. So I just give it to you the simple version. And then now you go in this direction because you was affected. Now you're not going towards this anymore. You're going towards your pants hanging down, hip hop, and whatever, Jesus and everything else. You're going this direction now, right? So the point is, how do you get back this direction? See, you have to have another force come. Somebody got generated force here to start heading you back towards this direction. So you got to calculate what kind of force do you need, how fast it has to be, and when. Because remember, you got to be at this destination at a certain time. The time is a factor too. And that's what angel is. Angel is the vector force. It's not by itself. Somebody has to release that force. That's Suleiman. That's what he had. So only one person could break those seals. So he released those vectors. It's not a vector by itself. Right? It has to be activated. So the angel activates this. So it got to be calculated just right. So it hits you just right. Your mind just right. So you're going to hit that dot there at the time, at the right time. You can't, if you hit it next year or 2 years from now, it's not going to do you any good. It's got to be time. Every time you get perfectly right. The right direction, the right strength, and the right time. So he said, you do the calculation, say, well, when I do the calculation, I need a vector to look like this. Boom. See? That's when that gets you there. See? You have to do the calculation. Get you there on time. You not just get it, but you got to be on time, at the right time. See? So you got injured, you mess words up, it gets you there, but you get there too late. Or too early. Or you get there on time, but you don't get there right. You get someplace else over here. Or you don't get there strong enough. Because you got length, you got strength, you got direction, you got timing. And all that's built in there. So like my time in 1990, I was right on time. This was supposed to happen. 89, I looked into it and I saw it. That's the way it was set for it to be done that way. To meet my mind matrix, so I could do it, and I did it. But you sort of missed. That's why I said I wasn't getting anywhere with the King James version. I just told you that. Because you started, I wasn't getting anywhere with that. Because it was distorted. And once I got the right one, boom. Then it was total consistent with my mind matrix. I was able to solve it. I just told you that. So you want to fuck around with those words and play with them and, oh, it's all right to do it sometime. Go on. Go on with that. See how it works out for you. And on top of that, it says, is there be a consequence for you doing that? So if things happen to you, maybe, because there will be a consequence, whether it's now or later, it will be a consequence. I told people, don't play around with it. I made a mistake. I don't care. Oh, I made a mistake and hit you. Oh, I'm supposed to feel better now because you made a mistake and ran over me? It don't work that way. The consequence is still there. Don't play around. I told them, don't play around the book. But they don't listen. So here's a vector of field. It affects them in all these different directions. Once these vectors going, now you on the path. Now, hey, here you go. You're a warrior now. That's how we great destroy this reality. When that war takes place, that's going to be a crushing blow to this reality. Because this reality, see, it's so beautiful when you understand it. Let me say a couple. I'm definitely going to get into other stuff today. I can't. I never can. Let me explain something to you if you can get it. All this stuff we planned all this stuff. We're the gods. All this stuff was planned. The Quran tells you always planned. So they have a plan, we have a plan. So we're the best of planners. Okay. All that oil, they tell you, if you read up oil, all that oil took millions of years to produce that oil. Millions of years, Earth doesn't produce it. It makes millions of years what? Because when biological matter decays, that's what it decays to oil. Decays into oil. That's why in the Middle East they don't put people in caskets and stuff, they just bury them in the ground. Because it's like recycling. Because their bodies and everything going to eventually turn to oil, the plant life and everything else. That's how you know Arabia was used to be a paradise. Because it couldn't have been a desert, because a lot of plant life had to die for the oil to exist. And so after years and years and years and millions and millions of years of that, you got all this oil, you got what the most biggest supply of oil is probably in the Middle East. That tells you right there, that place was a paradise. See, you probably didn't know that. Don't take my word. I tell everybody, take my word for anything. Prove everything I say, because everything I say, it can be proven. So all that, but the problem is, all our drinking water also is in underground rivers. That's why you can build wells and stuff. Drinking water does not come from the oceans. You can't drink that stuff. Right? So freshwater ponds and mostly underground rivers. You purify, flow to the rocks, and that's another story. Right? So at some point in time, you got all these look how much oil you got under. They start coming in contact with each other. And if that oil contacts with the fresh water, it would pollute it. That means it pollute all our drinking water. Can't have that. So the science said, okay, this is a perfect time to get rid of that. So we said, we make Adam, let's make his whole reality, his whole thing, built off of the need for oil, to run off of oil. Because that's not what we run off of. We're talking Master Farrakhan's, he's not using oil for his plane. We got a whole different technology. One of the reasons they haven't shut me down because they think I'm going to tell them what that technology is. Right? I told them this one says based on proton engines. That's all I'm going to give you. But they thought I really knew. Oh, you don't want to mess with me. Master Muhammad said, "I'll be with you as I was with Elijah." Elijah made him promise that he would protect him and his family, and he said, "Yeah, you protect." And no harm ever came to any Elijah Muhammad's family. Even they put him in jail, he never laid his hand on him. Never. Because that would have brought the end of America instantly. Even when they put me in jail and everything else they've done to me, all these fake actions, assassination attempts, they never put their hands on me yet. But they want to go for it if you think you can do it. I'll see if the Master Muhammad, I'm not going to question it. He said, I'm protected, I'm protected. I have means to protect myself too. But if it goes beyond that, I'm sure he can handle it. I'm not worried about it. Right. But what I was saying is that the oil, we gave them that as a, so that's what they, all out of the ground. That's what we gave them all. And right now, right, it's down to a low level. Right? It's down to a low level. And we're using that to bring their destruction. Because, see, you get oil, but where was it all mostly controlled at? Right in the Middle East. Oh, it's beautiful. So they hate the Middle East, but they pay on the Middle East for the oil. They hate Islam. And that's really not Islam over there anyway. That's another story to get on mate talking that today. Right? See? Because they're the jinn. How could it be? If Islam means you submit tied to the will of Allah, and they refuse. They refuse. I'm doing. That means they're not Muslim. But the ones that submit, they're the Muslim. But the ones submit, right? They're guilty of making men shed blood because they was under submission of someone who says, you got to submit to this Adam who's making men shed blood. That means what are you going to teach you to do? Make men shed blood if you submit to him. So you're the Muslim. Oh, but the ones say, I'm going to keep on doing what you told me. I'm going to keep on making my prayers. I'm going to keep holding record. I'm going to keep with the Quran. I ain't doing a goddamn thing. I ain't submitting to Adam. Are they Muslim? See, they can't break it down like that, but that's simple. They're the jinn. The only nation on this planet that totally reject everything Europeans do, this so-called West. Reject all of it. Every bit of it. See, they're the jinn. So are they Muslim? No. They got the form of Islam without the substance. But the people that submitted ties to Adam is us. We totally under Adam's control for 100 years. So we're the real Muslims. That's what the lessons say. Farrakhan. You're guilty, you're wicked, you're sinful. The accused of our brothers cast down. That's going to happen in a couple of days during this period of time I'm talking about. You understand? So we get it all up out of the ground. So we use them for that purpose. And their affliction of us, how do you make diamonds? Put them under extreme pressure. Who's under extreme pressure? No nation when we did. That's where we train a twinkle of an eye. They transform us from angels into gods. That's what it says. And let's make man like our image. Male and female, talking about us. That wasn't Adam. So now we get control of our own energy. Now we get control of our energy. That's all about energy management. And what do we do with our energy? We turn into a paradise that reflects us. But Farrakhan, we ain't going nowhere. We got to stay with the devils. We got to love them, forgive them. Well, because he's one of them. I'm going to close out here, bro. I can't get to other stuff. Right? I said, there's so much to talk about. I got a whole, if I talk about everything I had here, I ain't get to even scratch the surface. See, that's where we are right now. This was about to happen. Real Islam. Turn around. Islam will rise up in the what? In the what? What they say? In the west? The sun will rise in the west? Oh, this is Syria. Because they didn't want us to take our home back. They didn't want souls in slavery. They betrayed us. The Arabs, I have brothers. And they're paying Farrakhan right now to tell us, stop that talk about we going back, going back home. Yeah, they pay them. I can give you more details on that. So I'm going to move on, bro, so to close out. See if I got anything here. Oh, here it is. I had it in the wrong place. And the same day, may covenant Abraham, until I see I will give this land. So he's talking Abram. Why do they only call him Abram here? Why not Abraham? Who they call us Ham, don't they? Ain't that a big hint? Because that means we the ones that will separate from him. That's why I only call him Abram here. Abram. Because we the Ham, that was separated from him. And we're going to be united again. Until I see I've given this land from the river Egypt unto the great river Euphrates. That's Arabia. Somebody talking about, that's America. Well, Abram wasn't in America. He said this land. That means he was there where he was. You know, Abraham built Mecca. He built the Kaaba. All that stuff built, and that's an actual fact. But they won't tell you that because they say, well, because he was a Muslim. They don't tell you that because that's Muslim stuff. Because then that might open your eyes. Okay, let's look at this. Let me close out, brothers and sisters. See, has this happened before your eyes? This is actually happened for your eyes. That's happening with false Israel right now. Because they put up the false flag, false Israel up, to destroy our vision. People that have vision perish. So they tell, so we don't have a vision. What's your vision with Farrakhan? See, you don't have a vision with him. Why? Your vision is stay in America. Kiss white folk, kiss devil's ass. Loving them. Keep making gold for them and eating their shit. That's you don't have a dream with them. You have a vision. Because he came to destroy Elijah's vision. See? But this was Elijah's vision. And it's measure of covenant, it's fulfillment of it. He's going to fulfill, that's why I call it measure of covenant. Fulfill the covenant. And watch this. See, that's the up there, it's the darkness. I mean, darkness. That's the Abraham's seed right there. But see what's happening? Look, see it. We need to true Abraham. And when that happens, that we start coming together. See the great army. And that's what they can't have to happen. See? That's what they're going to attack us. They're going to attack somewhere between October and November this year, 2025. And then about to break all the vengeance that we've been absorbing. Now we're about to let loose. Let me speak. See here? Now I'm just speaking. See, 1930s mass problem. This condition our people was in. Zook suits and carrying on. People I was in. I'm not going into details about that, how about the 50-year cycles and all that. I did that yesterday. And then when Elijah came, they were, hey, black and I'm proud, man. They started, afros and carrying on. He was acting like white, trying to act like white people. Now I'm black and white. So Elijah started, inspiring them. Right? And then Farrakhan come along and turn them into clowns. He said make them a laughing stock before their enemies. Really did. Nation Islam, nobody fears Nation Islam. There's a bunch of clowns there. You can't get anything right. They love devils. They don't love devils, they love devils. And devils ain't even devils anymore. And then we had Suleiman would come and turn to a seething great army. So I talked about it yesterday, maybe I'll talk about it again, but I explained it yesterday. Okay, let me speak this last thing, brothers. Shitterlings. They fed us shit. That's what they fed us. They changed the name after you so-called free, which are not free, to chitlins, so you'd be too stupid to realize you were still eating shit. Because that's what chitlins is, shit. And they sell it at Walmart now, somebody's still buying it. If you never wash clean, then you know, if you ever, that's shit, because you see shit floating on top of the water. So why would you eat it? That's what they fed us. Okay? So gold and silver, it says, the sons of Levi will be purified as gold and silver. It says, when we left Egypt with great substance, it said we leave our gold and silver. It said by doing that we plundered Egypt. Why is that? What does that mean? Let me give you a short version. See, Europe, they produce shit. They didn't produce any damn thing. You say, hey, no. Why is America producing all this innovation and everything when Germany's not doing it, when France is not doing it? Spain not doing it. Why need America? Because we're here. And they is copying what they get from America. They won't tell you that. Because when they was in Europe, it was a shithole up there. It wasn't innovation. For 1,000 years, even more than that, it was a cave place. They only was fighting and disease and murder. They wouldn't take baths. You go your whole life without taking a bath. If they had living buildings with something like second floor, and they did their crap in pots, and they throw it out the window. That's where awnings came from. Those awnings things that come out on. That's where that came from in Europe. So you could walk under that to get splashed with the Holy Spirit, Holy Ghost. They just poured out there. And if you was under there and you went on there, you got hit with it. Disease, murder, fornication. Right? They were sleeping with animals. Where do you think herpes and gonorrhea and syphilis came from? Because they were sleeping with animals. They brought that shit all over the world. No, you didn't have the disease all over the world. The disease wasn't anyplace else. They tried to say the Indians had this syphilis. That's a lie. They brought it here and they wiped out most of the so-called natives from the common cold because nobody had it but them. Because their dogs get colds too. That's one of the few animals that actually get a cold, and by kissing them and everything else. Heard about Hugh Hefner, the Playboy guy. I think you can Google it because it was out there on the. I don't think I read it by now. His secretary told him, says, "Hey, she brought a dog to work. Can you watch my dog while I go to lunch?" She come back early. He's in there doing the dog. Playboy man, doing the dog. That's how filthy. They learn to take the bath from the Moors. I can't go into kind of detail, bro. There's so much. Filthy. Shit. The Western world was doing well. The Western world was healthy. Had innovation. China had innovation. Africa had innovation. Wealth and everything else. They was the one. You had Timbuktu was in Africa. Egypt was in Africa. The Egyptian pyramids. You know, they got pyramids in Sudan too. Why don't I tell you about that? They got actual pyramids. And why they don't tell you? Because you can't say Sudan was white. They try to tell you Egypt was white. You know, you got pyramids in Sudan. Sudan was actually controlled the whole continent of what you call Africa. The rulership went between them and Egypt. Sudan and Egypt. Right? The pharaohs, some pharaohs was out of Sudan. They ruled this time. Some pharaohs in Egypt. They don't tell you that. Okay? So it was a shit. They produced shit. And so they found the shit was so bad, they left out there and would take a little world look for gold and silver. They had none. Worst part of planet Earth. And then they found about the earth. This is chapter 12, chapter 20. Chapter 20. That story, chapter 20, is European history. It's not stuff in the future, millennium future. That's what happened. They came out here and they was turning American shithole. That story with Joseph. They didn't know what to do with this. They was killing the natives. And the natives had to teach them how to farm and everything. They didn't know how to do anything. They were turned into a shithole. And then what? What happened then? Then they got us. And we gold. That's how they got rich, with gold and silver. Because the innovation came from us. You say, oh, if it just came from them, how come I said Germany don't have innovation? They copied, they got America. They ain't coming to anything new. How come France didn't come to innovation? How come none of those countries, Spain, they come here because we the innovation. That's why they didn't want to let us go. They said we don't let them go because we the gold and silver. So we produce the gold and silver for them, and they give us the shit, symbiotic relationship. Look up symbiotic relationship. Who's in the field eating shit, cow chips? That's what you ate for lunch. Whoop your ass. Okay, get that. Go. And you ate the cow chip. That's where the idea of chips comes from. That's what they fed you. And this is a fact. And if you don't believe it, Oprah, she's probably a demon, but at least she got something out there on the internet that talks about that. Called Oprah Papers, something like the slave papers right there. That she got hold to it. These people went and interviewed all the slaves before they died. And they told them what it was really like. They wouldn't have fireplace, all that kind of stuff. They said they fed them just like pigs in a trough. No spoons, no forks, anything. And you had no beds and all that stuff. They lock you up in a damn room, or whole damn family at night just so you couldn't escape. If you had to go to bed, you don't top each other. This was really reality. And she got the letters out there, so you'll take her words for it. So we was producing the gold and silver for them, and they was giving us the shit. So we was eating shit out in the field, working our ass off, raping our women, they should never done that. Because I ain't gonna never forget that shit, ever. We standing there, and they used to have our women out there, some of them even naked, some pregnant, and you had to pick as much cotton as a man did. They ain't give a damn, and they out there naked, or sometimes they have them out there naked. Why? So that damn clown could jump off the horse, just do it right there while she's working. She bent over picking cotton. He said, "You keep picking that cotton while he was doing her." That's how sick these people were. Ain't no word, are. She gonna pick cotton while he doing her. That's what she was neck. And you gotta stand. You better. What you looking at, boy? They keep it. And I mean, just imagine that. Here, your woman could be your sister. He's just like, and she's there, and he's just, and you can't do a goddamn thing about it. Just think about that. And you see out here fist bumping them. Hey, bro, it makes you. It eats me up. I ain't blaming our brothers. I know what happened to them, but they better wake up soon. You fist bumping these people did that to us for 40 years. How you maintain that civilization? You maintain with terrorism. 40 years of terrorism, 24/7. This is a terrorist nation. You don't mean they didn't do it by violent cards. Will you work for us today? Would you like to come to work? We'll take a vacation. Yes, they did. Right? Where's the gold and the silver in this place? Let's go on. See? So we get the shit. We live in the ghettos. We do it with Popeyes, and they get rich. They get filthy rich. False Israel too. They always talking about, they financed the whole damn thing. Try to say we had nothing to do with it. No, you was right. You was all in, all the way up to the neck. That's what's so billionaires and everything right now. So that's what it is. And then we leave here, America returns back to a shithole. That's if they was allowed to live, it ain't. Because they're going to pay the consequences. What they 500 years, Arab nation's going to close in on them. They said what they did for 500 years, they brought peace to the world, they brought destruction, disease, genocides to the whole world. They can't talk about false Israel, they were doing genocide. They said, wait a minute, hey, Dad, what's your problem, Dad? I'm just following your footsteps. Because what's happening over there is what they did over here to us is 10,000 times worse than what false Israel was doing over there. They said, well, hey, Dad, I'm just following your footsteps. You did genocide. You took those people's land. You genocide. You enslaved people and you killed them. You took your horses. They call them braves, the so-called natives. They went around hunting. When they wasn't around, they would attack the tribe. Remember, women and children there, and they'd stomp them down. And they would take their horses and have the horses stomp out the brains of little children. This was going on here. You know, to my phone. No, that's why they helped for us, because they follow like son. Son like father, brother. So we all singing together because they give us our mind. So we over here, I got a car, man, I got a mortgage. We still slaves over here. You're still a slave. Just change the name, like change shillings to chillings, chillings to shitlings. I mean shillings to chillings. They changed it. You're still a slave. You're working somebody. Before you came here, you didn't work for anybody. You ain't doing 9 to 5. You ain't pay a mortgage. You ain't doing that stuff. You was free. And we all didn't live in tribes either. Most of us live in cities. Timbuktu, Egypt, all other places. Cairo. So they tell you the ones that lived out in the suburbs. They say, well, see, they was wow. Like somebody go and tell you, hey, man, America is Appalachia. So you go to Appalachia, hey, all Americans look like that. You say, yo. And you wouldn't have an idea. That's what he did. Most live in cities and everything. It was very cultured and sophisticated. Timbuktu was the greatest university on the planet at the time. They said, oh no, we was running around in Africa and been eating the cambos and stuff. So now the guys right here, over here, and we think everything's, so they was that mind, so we got a car now. You ain't had that stuff when you came over here. You didn't need a doctor. You didn't need hospitals. You was healthy. You didn't need Social Security. Everybody took care of everybody. You didn't need any of that stuff. So now you over here got all this stuff. I'm a free. You ain't free. You're an employee. It means you're still a slave. You got a taskmaster, don't you? Tell you what to do. You ain't nobody tell you what to do is over there. Nobody told you what to do. Everybody did according to their nature. And see, once they go back to being what they were, okay? They can do the same thing. Where do they get the music from? They get that from them? All that stuff they got from us. Then once you know that, so now they go back to their shithole, their cave dwelling. And we go back to Africa. Arabia is our home. Africa, Arabia is one continent. There's no land bridge between the two. But they tell you Arabia is different, no? Arabia is really north, what they call Africa, and Africa is really not a name because Africa comes from this Roman general called Africanus. They named it that. That's not the real name of it. That's not what they call themselves. China's not named it, called itself. Okay, I'm gonna definitely close after this, brothers and sisters. I want you to understand this. This is a little trick they do it. They've been doing it even more so. The devil's taught them to do it because Farrakhan too damn stupid. He's incapacitated, and Ishmael definitely too damn stupid to understand this, to come up with this idea. So Elijah Muhammad is not a dummy. Let me get that straight. But Farrakhan used him as a dummy. So think of the idea between a ventriloquist and a dummy. The dummy speaks, but he's speaking what the ventriloquist tell him to speak. He puts the words in the dummy's mouth. You understand that? The ventriloquist puts the words in the dummy's mouth. So what you see Elijah saying is not Elijah's words, it's Farrakhan's words. You understand? But you see Elijah's the one talking. Understand that, right? Okay. So here it is. These are Farrakhan's words. Then Farrakhan will turn around and tell you he's a student of Elijah. He's following Elijah, and he repeats what Elijah says. So he says, see, this is what Elijah said. But those are his words to begin with. That's why they played against, no, he's not reflecting Elijah. That's his bullshit. Scientology, all that kind of crap, that's his bullshit, but he's putting in Elijah's mouth. You get it? I'm going to leave it there, brothers. Ooh. Okay, I'm going to play this and I'm going.
Although the Nation of Islam, does not presently advocate violence by its members, the group does preach hatred of the white race and racial separatism. The membership of the Nation of Islam is organized and poses a real racial threat. The Nation of Islam is responsible for the largest black nationalist newspaper, which has been used by other black extremists. The Nation of Islam appears to be the personal fiefdom of Elijah Muhammad. When he dies, a power struggle can be expected and the Nation of Islam could change direction. We should be prepared for this eventuality. We should plan how to change the philosophy of the Nation of Islam to one of strictly religious and self-improvement orientation, deleting the race hatred and separate nationhood aspects. In this connection, Chicago should consider what counterintelligence action might be needed now or at the time of Elijah Muhammad's death to bring about such a change in Nation of Islam philosophy. Important considerations should include the identity, strengths, and weaknesses of any contenders for Nation of Islam leadership. What are the positions of our bureau deletion informants in regard to leadership? How could potential leaders be turned or neutralized? The alternative to changing the philosophy of the Nation of Islam is the destruction of the organization. This might be accomplished through generating factionalism among the contenders for Elijah Muhammad's leadership or through legal action in probate court on his death. Chicago should consider the question of how to generate the factionalism necessary to destroy the Nation of Islam by splitting into several groups, bureau deletion. Do you think that the FBI just folded and walked away? Read this document carefully. Did not the FBI accomplish each of their goals? Did not Farrakhan deliver everything the FBI wanted? We should plan to change the philosophy of the Nation of Islam to one of strictly religious and self-improvement orientation. Sunniism, Scientology. Deleting the race hatred. Don't call devils anymore. Deleting the separate nationhood aspects. We ain't going nowhere. No existing economic program. The reason why these facts are ignored is because those that surround him are demons, fools, idolaters and FBI agent handlers who make sure he stays on track.
I gotta do this. Do you mind? Yes, I'm gonna do something. I don't want to put my brother on the spot. See, this is this. This is something else. Love and faith transcends color. And the reason why we embrace Father Flagger as a brother is because we find him on the battlefield of justice, being a true disciple of Jesus. And the last thing I'll say is, you'll never call us racist.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because this day that we honor,
Yes, sir.
Master Fard Muhammad, if you see an image of him, put his image up.
Yes, sir.
That's the man whose father was a black man and his mother a Caucasian. And how many of us have a parent that's a Caucasian or grandparent? It's not about color. It's about our submission to the will of God. And in that we find common ground and unity.
Yes, sir.
So I'm only one shade lighter than you, so. And Mustafa may be 4 more shades lighter. We a family.
Yes, sir.
Let's stay a family and be a family and love each other as God would have us to love each other. We love you, Father. Happy Savior's Day. Thank you. I had to do that. We love you.
One more time, brother. Sick. That would make Elijah Muhammad sick. Sick. Is that what let's say? That ain't what the scriptures say. Sick. And what's about to happen to them? Remember, their time is running out. During this war, while this war taking place, instead of war would be, will not end to the end of the year. While this war is taking place, they're going to be cast down. Like I said in the beginning, their chastisement will be most grievous. Most grievous. That means as grievous as it possibly could be. How can that be? Ooh. And we're going to have to play his words back for him and see how he likes them. Sick. So I confused Wesley in the background and Mustafa, Farrakhan's devil son. Look at this. Photoshop, kissing him in the mouth. Well, he's been disemboweled. That's a curse, ain't it? Can't handle women no more, so maybe you got a little boyfriend here. Well, Do back work.
Washington, D.C. At least that's what he tells. Washington, D.C. Louis Farrakhan suspects that his father may have been Jewish. At least that's what he tells Henry Louis Gates Jr. in the current issue of the New Yorker magazine. Speaking of his father's white Portuguese parents, the Nation of Islam leader said, "I'm going to tell you something. You really want to know what I think? I think they were members of the Jewish community." He added, "I believe that in my blood, and not in a bad way. Because when I was a little boy I used to love listening to the Jewish cantors in Boston. They had a program, and every week I would listen. I was struck by the cantor, and I've always loved the way they sing or recite the Torah." Gates, citing an academic source, says Farrakhan's assertion about his lineage is highly probable given that nearly all people of Iberian descent in Jamaica and Barbados are of Sephardic Jewish ancestry. Farrakhan was born in 1933, the son of May Clark, who was from Barbados. He was named Gene after his father, a light-skinned man with straight hair from Jamaica. His father, Gates writes, was a philanderer whom the family rarely saw. "If in my lineage there are Jews, I would hope that in the end, before my life is over, I not only will have rendered a service to my own beloved community of black people but will also have rendered a service to the Jewish community," Farrakhan was quoted as saying. In the interview with Gates, which reportedly lasted 9 hours, the Nation of Islam leader also made reference to wise Jews who plan evil, the international conspiracy of Jewish bankers and overwhelming Jewish complicity in the slave trade. Jewish groups expressed outrage over Farrakhan's latest public statements. Farrakhan's effort to make it appear that he is merely criticizing the evil he finds in his own Jewish antecedents is a reflection of the bizarre and ludicrous nature of his entire behavior towards Jews, Phil Baum, executive director of the American Jewish Congress, said in a statement. Meanwhile, a planned protest against the Anti-Defamation League of B'nai B'rith fizzled last week when Washington, D.C., police denied former Nation of Islam spokesman Khalid Abdul Muhammad entrance to the B'nai B'rith office. Flanked by 4 bodyguards in black fatigues, Muhammad took a moment to rail against the ADL and the Jewish community before he departed the scene. "This is a criminal organization and a criminal enterprise that has lied and spied on black leaders and black organizations," said Muhammad, who was dismissed as Farrakhan's spokesman in 1994 in the wake of a national controversy surrounding a vehemently anti-Semitic speech he delivered at Keene College in New Jersey. Muhammad called the ADL and its parent organization, B'nai B'rith, one of the main arteries of improper propaganda and nefarious activity that has greatly influenced the larger American Jewish community. In brief remarks to reporters, Muhammad said the black man and black woman are the chosen people of God and we want to put an end to this lie of the so-called Jews, these people who crawled out of the caves and hills of Europe just a few years ago claiming our birthright. Standing astride Muhammad was Malik Zulu Shabazz, the leader of the Washington, D.C.-based Unity Nation who gained notoriety for leading anti-Semitic chants at Howard University student rallies in 1994. Shabazz said the ADL is an oppressive organization that comes from a people that are by nature evil and wicked.
It's Farrakhan's daddy. Google it.
Son of perdition. Now we
Bypass that
beseech you.
So long till they don't know the birth record. Remotest antiquity. So long till they don't know the birth record. So they just say from remotest antiquity, this is the house that God used to manifest his wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and power in and through Where is he now? Wherever he want to be. I'm not going to say I know where he is, but I'm glad his power is everywhere. I think I know where he is. I don't want to say because I could be wrong, but he's wherever he wishes to be. Are we to pray and worship Master Farad Muhammad? You don't worship the flesh of any man, because the flesh is going to die. But in that flesh is a wisdom and a power superior to any human being on the earth. So when we look to Allah in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, we look to him. And when he ain't no longer here, the power is going to be here. Honorable Elijah Muhammad said he would live a minimum of 400 years, but 400 years ain't no time. He'll be gone. But before he goes, the foundation of what he lays will never be erased from the planet. That's a God. He prays. He prays. He don't pray to himself. You don't say, surely I have turned myself to me. Who does he pray to? He prays in remembrance of him who originated that which he came in. He came in this body. You can't ignore him who originated this. Anyway, it's deep. It's a big subject. I want to say to my Muslim brothers, when I was in Mecca, I was there for 3 days.
What bullshit. He pray in remembrance. I mean, he don't pray to a God. Can't pray. See, Master Muhammad, they don't believe he's God. Like Muhammad said, you can't make him other than a God. You can't make him other than a man. Nothing. So he said, no, that's totally against Elijah Muhammad's teachings. Totally. Message of the black man, every book he put out, he's a God. He's God, and you can't. He's flesh, and you can't make him God other than man. Otherwise, you make him anything less. But he said, no, you can't. And then he prays. Pray to who? Just focus on that for a minute. If he prays, he's praying to, who is he praying to? Something that's not flesh. Whatever he's praying to, they didn't tell you that was. So he's a God above Master Farad Muhammad. He's praying to him. Or he praying to our remembrance. What the hell you pray to a memory for? What's the point of doing that? You pray to somebody's memory? So why would he pray to something that's not going to do anything good for him? Right? And plus what he praying to is not flesh. I'm leaving alone, brothers and sisters. Those of you that are awake and not cling to this world's life, you're going home next year. You'll be home next year. But you got a lot of things got to go through the rest of this year. It's going to be dramatic. You're going home. See? That's if you want to go home. Nobody's going to make you. I'm here to give you information how to get home. Provide the ladder for you to climb to get the help out of here. Nobody's going to make you do it. Nobody's force you. Master Muhammad's going to give you a helping hand because you're going to destroy this reality. Right? The economy's going to collapse. Get that 2 weeks of food, brothers and sisters. A win-win situation. Assalamu alaikum.